Captain Ji-ho Kim floated to the large window of the International Space Station, his dark eyes fixed on the strange object that had appeared 3 days ago near Earth. The thing, if anyone could call it that, was hard to describe. It looked like a huge crystal that bent light around it. Sometimes it seemed to disappear, then reappear when you looked at it from a different angle. "Anything new from Earth?" Ji-ho asked, not taking his eyes off the strange thing. Science Officer Hanul Park pushed herself across the module to join him at the window. Her short black hair floated slightly in the zero gravity. "Nothing clear," she said. "They've tried every radio wave and light signal they know. No answer from the object." "And the message?" Ji-ho asked. "Did they figure out what it says?" Han-Nul shook her head and handed him a tablet. "That's the strange part. There is no message. At least none that our computers can find." Ji-ho took the tablet and looked at the data. The screen showed empty signal readings and failed connection attempts, so it just showed up with no hello? He asked. "Exactly," Han-Nul said. "It's just sitting there 12,000 kilometers from Earth orbit doing nothing." What the people of Earth did not know was that for the past year and a half, a group called the Collective, made up of 7 advanced alien civilizations, had been trying to talk to Earth. They had sent messages using 23 different signal types. They had used math patterns that should work for any thinking being. But no one on Earth had answered. The Collective had finally made a choice. If Earth couldn't hear them, they would have to show up in person. "We need to try something new," said General Do-hyun Cho at the emergency meeting in Seoul. Representatives from 12 countries sat around a large table. Screens on the walls showed leaders from 15 more nations joining by video. "The Americans want to send up a ship to look at it closer," said Defense Minister Mi-sun Jang, looking at her notes. "The Russians and Chinese agree." "And if it's dangerous?" asked someone from the back of the room. Minister Jang looked up. "That's why they want to send an unmanned drone first." General Cho nodded. "I agree with this plan. We need more information." At NASA headquarters in Houston, Dr. Tae-Wan Lee watched the screens with growing worry. As Earth's top expert in alien languages, a field that had been mostly theory until 3 days ago, he had been flown in on the fastest plane available. "Still nothing?" he asked the room of tired scientists. "Not a peep," said Communications Director Subin Kang. She hadn't slept in 36 hours, and it showed in the dark circles under her eyes. "We've tried radio waves, light signals, binary, code, prime numbers, hydrogen frequencies. Nothing works." Tae-Wan rubbed his eyes. "An intelligence that can build a ship like that would understand basic ways to talk. It doesn't make sense. Unless they're not trying to talk," Subin suggested. The room went quiet as everyone considered this idea. "Then why come at all?" Tae-Wan asked. The answer came 2 days later. Captain Ji-ho was in the middle of a video call with his wife when the screens went dead. Not just his screen, every electronic system on the space station shut down at once. "Han-Nul!" he called out, in the sudden darkness. Only the emergency light stayed on, casting an eerie red glow through the station. "I'm here," she said, pushing herself into the module. "What happened?" "Everything just died," Ji-ho said. He looked out the window toward Earth. The planet looked different. The usual glow of city lights on the night side was gone. "I think it's happening on Earth too." For exactly 3 minutes and 17 seconds, every electronic device on Earth and in orbit stopped working. Cell phones, computers, military systems, power grids, all went silent at once. Then, just as suddenly, everything came back on. When Taiwan's computer restarted, a strange pattern appeared on his screen. He blinked, thinking it might be a system error, but then his phone chimed. When he looked at it, the same pattern was there. His office door burst open. Subin rushed in, holding her tablet. "Are you seeing this?" she asked, showing him her screen. The same pattern glowed there too. "It's on everything," she said. "Every screen on Earth is showing the same thing." The pattern was a simple geometric shape that slowly turned, showing more complex layers as it rotated. "It's not a message. Tae-Wan, whispered as understanding hit him. It's a map. The next morning, leaders from every major country met in an emergency United Nations session. The alien ship had made its point. It could shut down Earth's technology at will. Now humanity needed to respond. We need to send people, Taiwan told the assembly. The pattern they sent us is showing us how to reach them. Reach them where? Asked the French representative. The ship is right there in orbit. No, Taiwan said, pointing to his analysis. The pattern shows a location just beyond the moon. I think the ship we see is just a small part of something bigger. The room erupted in worried talk. We can't risk human lives, someone shouted. We can't afford not to, argued another. Jiho watched the debate from the space station where he and Hanul had been ordered to stay and observe the crystal ship. What do you think they want? Hanul asked him quietly. Jiho stared at the alien object. I don't know. But they went to a lot of trouble to get our attention after we missed their calls. I think they really want to talk. Or they're just showing us what they can do before they attack, Hanul said. Jiho shook his head. If they wanted to hurt us, they could have done it when they shut everything down. They gave it all back. I think they're just trying to make sure we're listening now. As if hearing his words, the crystal ship suddenly changed. Its surface rippled like water, and then it began to move. Not toward Earth, but away, heading in the direction of the moon. Mission control, Jiho called over the radio. The ship is moving. I repeat, the alien ship is moving. We see it, Captain, came the reply. All stations are tracking it. Jiho watched as the strange visitor grew smaller in the distance. He couldn't explain why, but he felt certain of one thing. The real first contact was just beginning. They're not leaving, he told Hanul. They're inviting us to follow. The crystal ship disappeared behind the moon, leaving humanity with a choice to make. Stay safely at home, or follow the mysterious visitors who had crossed the stars to find them. The message hadn't been received, but the invitation could not be ignored. 5 days had passed since the crystal ship moved behind the moon. The world's space agencies worked around the clock to prepare a response. In the main meeting room at NASA, people from 23 countries argued about what to do next. We must send an armed ship, said General Do Hyun Cho. They showed they can shut down our power. This is a threat. If they wanted to harm us, they could have done it already, Dr. Taewon Lee replied. He pointed to the large screen showing the 3D pattern the aliens had sent. This is not a threat. It's directions. Subin Kang nodded in agreement. She hadn't slept much in the past week, but her mind was sharp. The pattern clearly shows how to modify our engines to reach their location. And if it's a trap? Asked Minister Mi-soon Jang. No one had a good answer to that. Up in the International Space Station, Captain Ji-ho Kim received new orders. He read them twice to make sure he understood. They want us to do what? Han-yul Park asked when he told her. They're sending up a special engine part on the next supply rocket, Ji-ho explained. We're supposed to attach it to the station's small shuttle and follow the alien ship. Han-yul's eyes widened. Just us? Alone? Ji-ho shook his head. No, they're sending up a team. Dr. Lee, the language expert, and 2 others. We'll take them to the meeting point. When? 3 days from now. Hanul looked out the window toward the moon, somewhere beyond which waited the mysterious visitors. Do you think this is the right choice? Ji-ho took a long time to answer. I don't know, but I do know that whoever these beings are, they came a very long way to talk to us. It would be rude not to answer. The supply rocket arrived right on schedule. With it came Dr. Taewon Lee, astronaut Jin-woo Choi, and quantum physicist Yoon Ji-yoon. Jin-woo was tall and strong, with 15 years of spaceflight experience. Yoon-ji was younger, barely 30, but she had helped design the new engine part that would hopefully take them to the aliens. It's based on the pattern they sent, she explained as they installed it in the shuttle. Her hands moved quickly, connecting wires and checking readings. The math in their message showed us how to modify our regular engines to reach much higher speeds. And you're sure it will work? Hanul asked. Yoon-ji smiled slightly. Mostly sure. The physics checks out. Mostly sure is good enough for me, Jinwoo said with a laugh. I've flown with worse odds. Taewon said nothing. He stared out the window, his mind focused on what he would say when they finally met the aliens. How do you start a conversation with beings from another world? The modified shuttle detached from the space station the next morning. Earth looked beautiful below them, a blue and white marble in the blackness of space. Control, this is Captain Kim, Ji-ho said into his radio. We are on course for the moon. Engine modifications are working as expected. Understood, Captain, came the reply. All of Earth is watching. Good luck. The trip to the moon normally took 3 days. With the new engine, they would arrive in just 7 hours. Nervous? Jinwoo asked Taewon, who sat strapped in his seat clutching a tablet. Terrified, Taewon admitted. I've spent my life studying how we might talk to aliens. Now it's really happening, and I'm not sure if any of my theories will work. You'll do fine, Jinwoo assured him. Just remember they want to talk as much as we do. They wouldn't have come all this way otherwise. The shuttle rounded the moon and everyone gasped. There, floating in the empty space beyond, was not just the crystal ship they had seen before, but an enormous vessel at least 20 times larger. The smaller ship they had observed near Earth was now attached to the side of this massive mothership. The giant vessel gleamed like a diamond, changing colors as they watched. Parts of it seemed solid, while others appeared almost like liquid or gas. That's big, Jinwoo said, breaking the stunned silence. Control, are you seeing this? Ji-ho radioed back to Earth. There was no answer, just static. We're being blocked, Hanyul said, checking the systems. Or maybe the ship is interfering with our signals somehow. What now? Yoonji asked, looking at Ji-ho. The captain took a deep breath. We follow the plan. We try to make contact. He guided the shuttle closer to the giant ship. As they approached, a section of the crystal surface seemed to melt away, revealing an opening. I think they want us to go inside, Taewon said quietly. Ji-ho looked at each of his crew members. This is your last chance to object. We can turn back now if anyone thinks we should. No one spoke. All right then, Ji-ho said. Let's say hello, though our inside of the alien ship was not what they expected. Instead of a strange alien environment, they entered what looked like a normal room with Earth-like gravity. The walls glowed with a soft light, and the air was breathable when they carefully tested it. They made this space for us, Yoonji said, in wonder. They knew what we would need. They moved slowly through the entry room into a larger chamber. Here the walls displayed countless images of Earth, cities, oceans, deserts, and people from all over the world. They've been watching us, Jinwoo whispered. For how long? Maybe centuries, Taewon said, studying the images. Some showed ancient civilizations, others modern cities. They've been learning about us. In the center of the chamber stood a simple pedestal with a glowing blue light on top. What do we do? Hanyul asked. Taewon approached the pedestal slowly. I think this is their version of a handshake, a way to start talking. Before anyone could stop him, he reached out and placed his hand in the blue light. The room changed instantly. The walls dissolved into stars, a view of the galaxy from a perspective no human had ever seen. Points of light appeared, marking what must be hundreds of solar systems, and then they were not alone anymore. 7 holographic figures appeared around them. Each one was completely different from the others. One looked like a tall plant with moving branches. Another resembled something like a jellyfish floating in air. A third was a cluster of small orbs that moved together as one being. Despite their differences, all 7 aliens made the same gesture, touching what seemed to be their faces or sensory organs, then extending their limbs toward the humans. It's a greeting, Taewon said, his voice filled with awe. They're saying hello. The plant-like being moved forward. From somewhere, though it had no visible mouth, came sounds that the humans couldn't understand. But words appeared in the air, translated into many Earth languages. Finally, we meet, long have we waited. Taewon stepped forward, his years of theory and practice suddenly put to the test. We are from Earth, he said simply. We come in peace. Why have you come to us? The alien's branches swayed gently. New words appeared. To warn you. And to learn. From you. Your kind is unique. The 5 humans looked at each other, confusion and excitement mixing on their faces. Unique how? Jiho asked. The alien made a movement that might have been the equivalent of a smile. You did not hear our messages. All others hear. But you are different. And now we know why. The room around them changed again, showing Earth from space. Thousands of signals bounced around the planet. Radio, television, internet, phone calls, all in different formats, different languages, different systems. You speak not as one, the alien explained. You speak as many. This is why you did not hear us, and this is why we need you. The 5 humans stood in stunned silence. Around them, the 7 alien beings waited patiently. The plant-like creature that spoke first seemed to be their leader. I don't understand, Taewon said finally. Why do you need us? Because we communicate differently. The alien's branches swayed gently. The translated words appeared in the air again. We will show you. The room changed once more. Now they saw stars and planets they did not recognize. On each world, they saw different alien species. Some looked a bit like Earth animals. Others were completely strange. But all shared one thing. They each had one main way to communicate. Every world we found follows the same path, the alien explained. They create one way to send messages that all their people use. We call this the pattern. Images showed the different aliens building machines that all worked the same way. Their communication systems all used the same rules. But humans, the alien pointed to new images of Earth, showing thousands of different communication systems, languages, and technologies. Humans make many ways to speak. Radio waves, digital signals, light patterns, sound codes, too many to count. Jin Woo leaned over to Yoonji. Is that a bad thing? He whispered. The alien heard him. Not bad. Different. Special. Taewon was starting to understand. You mean all other species develop one standard form of communication, but we have thousands of competing systems? Yes, the alien replied. All others follow the pattern. It makes talking between worlds easy, but it also makes them, the same word would be stuck. Han Yul stepped forward. And because we have so many different ways to communicate, we missed your messages completely. Correct, said the alien. We sent signals in the ways that all other worlds use, but Earth has too much noise, too many signals. Our message was lost. Captain Jiho had been quiet, taking it all in. Now he spoke up. You said you came to warn us. About what? The room darkened. New images appeared showing a massive black cloud moving through space, swallowing stars. The void, the alien said. It comes. It destroys. It has eaten 27 star systems already. What is it? Yoonji asked, staring at the terrifying images. We do not know fully, the alien admitted. It seems to be a very old technology gone wrong. It breaks down all matter into simple parts. It learns and adapts to any attack. And it's coming toward Earth? Jiho asked, feeling cold fear in his stomach. Not yet. But one day, yes, it moves, slowly across the galaxy. We have tried to stop it for 300 years. We failed. The humans looked at each other in shock. How could they possibly help against something that an alliance of advanced aliens couldn't defeat? I still don't understand, Taewon said. What do our communication systems have to do with this void thing? The plant alien's branches drooped slightly, as if in sadness. The collective, our 7 worlds, we think the same now. Too much the same. We followed the pattern too long. When we try to fight the void, it learns our attacks quickly because they are predictable. Now Yoonji's eyes widened as she began to understand. But humans don't follow your pattern. We think differently. Yes, the alien said. And somehow, they could sense its excitement. Humans make new paths when old ones fail. You try many different ways to solve problems. You do not all think the same. The jellyfish-like alien floated forward, taking over the explanation. Its translated words appeared. We watched your history. You fight each other, yes. This is sad. But you also create many different cultures, technologies, ideas. When one human group gets stuck, another finds a new way. Our chaos is our strength, Jinwoo said with a surprised laugh. Exactly, the jellyfish alien replied. The void beats us because we became too ordered, too similar in our thinking. But humans are wonderfully unpredictable. The cluster of small orbs that formed the third alien moved closer. New words appeared. We need your help to think in new ways, to find solutions we cannot see. Jiho looked skeptical. But we're far less advanced than you. Our technology must seem primitive to yours. Your machines, yes, the orb alien answered. But your minds? No, your thinking is what we need. Hanul had been studying the images of the void carefully. This thing adapts to attacks, learns patterns. It sounds almost like a computer virus on a massive scale. That is close, the plant alien said. It was made long ago by a species, now gone. It was meant to clean space junk, we think, but it grew beyond its purpose. Taewon turned to his fellow humans. They're right about us. Think about Earth's history. When we face a problem, we try hundreds of different solutions. Some work, some fail, but we keep trying new approaches. And that's exactly what they need, Yoonji added, her scientist's mind racing with possibilities. A species that doesn't all think the same way. Jiho still looked concerned. But what exactly are you asking us to do? We can't fight this thing for you. Not fight, the plant alien clarified. Think, share ideas, join us. The room changed again, now showing a beautiful blue-green planet. Our homeworld. We invite human thinkers to come, to work with us, to find new ways to stop the void. The 5 humans were quiet, taking in the enormity of what was being asked. They had come expecting first contact with aliens. Instead, they were being invited to join a galactic alliance to save the stars themselves. We need to discuss this with our leaders, Jiho said finally. This isn't a decision the 5 of us can make for all of humanity. We understand, the plant alien said. But know this, in all our travels across thousands of worlds, we have never found a species like humans. Your chaotic thinking, your many different ways of communicating and solving problems, these make you special in the galaxy. Taewon smiled slightly. All this time we thought being divided into different countries and cultures was our weakness. For peace at home, perhaps it causes problems, the jellyfish alien said. But for survival among the stars, it may save us all. The orb alien moved in what seemed like excitement. Will you take our message to your world? Jiho looked at his crew, who all nodded. Yes, he said, we will. Then we will wait for your answer, the plant alien said. But do not wait too long. The void is distant, but it never stops. As the humans turned to leave, Hanul had one last question. Why did you shut down our power systems when you first arrived? Was that really necessary? The alien's translated response showed a touch of what might have been humor. After sending messages for 18 months with no reply, we needed to make sure you were paying attention. Jinwoo laughed. Well, you certainly got our attention. The humans headed back to their shuttle, carrying with them the knowledge that humanity's greatest strength might be the very chaos and diversity that often caused them trouble. The aliens' final words followed them. Humans didn't get our message, but perhaps that is why you are exactly what the galaxy needs. The journey back to Earth was quiet. Each member of the crew was lost in their own thoughts about what they had learned. Captain Jiho Kim guided the shuttle toward the blue planet that now looked somehow different to them all. Do you think they'll believe us? Hanul Park asked, breaking the long silence. They'll have to, Jinwoo Choi replied. We have proof. He held up a small crystal disk the aliens had given them. It contained images of the void and data about the collective's 7 worlds. As Earth grew larger in their viewports, they finally regained radio contact. Shuttle 1, this is Mission Control. Do you copy? We lost contact with you for 22 hours. Jiho pressed the comm button. Mission Control, this is Captain Kim. We copy. We made contact. I repeat, we made contact with the aliens. There was a moment of stunned silence. Then, understood, Shuttle 1, return to landing coordinates. The world is waiting to hear your report. The 5 crew members were taken directly from the landing site to a secure facility. Leaders from major nations had gathered to hear what happened. The room was tense as the space travelers shared their story. Taewon Lee did most of the talking, with the others adding details. They showed the crystal disk on a special computer. The images of the 7 alien species in the void appeared on large screens around the room. When they finished, the room erupted in questions. How do we know this void is real? Why should we trust these aliens? What exactly do they want from us? President Hae-jin Song of South Korea raised her hand for silence. Dr. Lee, in your expert opinion, are these aliens telling the truth? Taewon nodded without hesitation. Yes, Madam President. They could have harmed us many times if they wanted to. Instead, they shared knowledge and asked for our help. But what can we possibly offer being so advanced? Asked another leader. Yoon Ji-yoon stepped forward. It's not about technology. It's about how we think, how we solve problems. She pointed to the alien data on the screen. Look at their history. The collective has been stable for thousands of years. They haven't had wars or major conflicts in all that time. Isn't that a good thing? Someone asked. For peace, yes, Yoon-ji said. But they all started thinking the same way. When the void appeared, they couldn't adapt because they all tried the same solutions. But humans, Jinwoo added, we have thousands of different cultures, languages, and ways of thinking. When one approach fails, we try something completely different. The debate lasted for days. Some nations wanted nothing to do with the aliens. Others were eager to join the collective. Scientists examined the alien data and confirmed it was far beyond Earth's technology. 1 week after the shuttle's return, the United Nations called a special session to make a decision. Jiho and his crew sat in the front row as representatives from all nations spoke. Some voiced fear, others excitement. The debate seemed to go in circles. Finally, Taiwan was asked to address the assembly. I've spent my life studying how we might talk to aliens, he began. I never imagined they would need our help. But think about what they're really asking for. They don't want our weapons or our technology. They want our ideas, our creativity, our different ways of looking at problems. He looked around the room. For thousands of years, we've been divided by borders, languages, and cultures. We've often seen these differences as weaknesses. But what if they're actually our greatest strength? The room was silent, considering his words. The aliens told us something important, Taewon continued. They said that in the entire galaxy they've never found another species like humans. Our chaotic, diverse thinking is unique, special, maybe even essential for the future of life. In our galaxy. 3 months later, a new ship rose from Earth. It carried 200 of humanity's brightest minds, scientists, artists, engineers, philosophers, and storytellers from every corner of the planet. They came from different cultures, spoke different languages, and had different ways of thinking. That was exactly why they were chosen. Captain Jiho Kim once again sat in the command chair. Dr. Taewon Lee and Yoon Ji-yoon were also aboard, along with many others who brought unique perspectives. The new ship used technology based on what the aliens had shared. It could reach the collective's homeworld in just 2 weeks, instead of the hundreds of years it would have taken with Earth's old engines. As they prepared to leave Earth's orbit, Jiho received one final message from Mission Control. Godspeed, Captain. Humanity is counting on you. Jiho looked at his diverse crew. People of all backgrounds working together, yet each bringing their own unique way of thinking. Send a message to the collective, he told Hanul, who was once, again, his communications officer. Tell them humans are on their way. 1 year later, a breakthrough came. It wasn't from the advanced aliens of the collective. It came from a team led by Yoon Ji-yoon and included a musician from Kenya, a farmer from Brazil, and a young game designer from Japan. They had been studying the void from a completely different angle than the aliens had tried. Instead of seeing it as a weapon to be destroyed, they saw it as a system that could be reprogrammed. It's like a complex computer program gone wrong, Yunji explained to the collective council. But every program has bugs and backdoors. The plant-like alien leader's branches swayed with excitement. In 300 years, we never considered this approach. We always tried to destroy it. That's because you all think too much alike, said Minho Park, the game designer. In my work, when players find a way to cheat the game, we don't just block that one path. We have to think like the cheaters to stay ahead of them. The jellyfish alien bobbed up and down. This is exactly why we needed humans. You think in ways we cannot. It took another 3 years of work, but the combined team finally created a solution. A special signal that could rewrite the void's basic programming, changing its purpose from destruction to creation. When they tested it on a small part of the void that had been captured for study, the black cloud transformed into shimmering particles that began rebuilding the very matter it had once destroyed. The news spread throughout the collective worlds. Humans, the species that couldn't even hear the aliens' messages, had found a solution that 7 advanced civilizations had missed for centuries. On the day the full solution was deployed against the void, Jiho stood with Taiwan on the observation deck of the alien world. "Do you think it will work on the full void?" Jiho asked. Taiwan smiled. "I don't know. But if this solution fails, we'll try another, and another after that. That's what humans do best." The plant alien leader joined them. "Your species has taught us an important lesson. True wisdom comes not from finding one perfect path, but from exploring many different ones." Jiho looked up at the stars, thinking about Earth, now just one world among many that humans could visit. "We didn't get your message," he said to the alien. "But I think that's exactly why we were the right species to help." The alien's translation appeared. "The universe has many voices. Now we know it's important to listen to them all." As they watched, reports came in from across the galaxy. The void was changing, transforming from a force of destruction to one of renewal. Humanity had earned its place among the stars, not through superior technology or strength, but through the very chaos and diversity that had once seemed like weakness. The message hadn't been received, but the response would echo across the galaxy for centuries to come.